What's good, Samurai Gang? It's your boy Su, and yes, we're back with let me take these off. We're back with another video, y'all. Listen, which JoJo could beat full power Sukuna? Listen, I don't think Jonathan, I don't think nobody in the Joestar family can actually beat a fully powered Sukuna, not the way that I'm thinking of. He cut through space and time. I don't see nobody else doing that. I don't even think a lot of people could beat Gojo inside of JoJo. Like any Joestar could beat, him. So, RIP to my nigga Gojo, bro. One of the coolest looking. I mean, even though he's like a Kakashi clone, he's one of the coolest looking, people from Jujutsu Kaisen. Like I said before, I don't think maybe Pucci, if that's how you pronounce his name, the one with the weird eyebrows and weird haircut, the only black one with a stand that has powers. I'm probably wrong about that, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, we about to see which Joestar or somebody from JoJo who could be a fully powered Sukuna. I don't think there is any, but we about to see. Let's check it out.
Joestars are a team filled with hitters, but what happens when they face off individually against a foe like Mother?
I'm not gonna hold you. Anytime a Joestar went against somebody who was really strong by themselves, they got cooked and plot had to save them. No offense. I'm just letting you know what I saw. One-on-one. No help. No teammates. Just by yourself. They're getting cooked.
Enter Sukuna, the undisputed king of curses from Jujutsu Kaisen, who is currently on an all-time run in the manga. While there are moments in JJK where the Joestars could take on the strongest characters with ease, Sukuna is on a different level entirely.
Yes.
So, what is the King of Curses capable of now? Now, Sukuna at full power, JJK really has done the most to get the best gauge of his destructive capabilities, but we can that he took out elite groups from back then, but we don't know anything about those groups. So,
just a small city. That's all he got. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe not Jonathan, but probably Joseph, if that's the case. If that's the case, then Joseph. Because some JoJo characters are way faster than there's a few. I'm not gonna name who they are, but just know that there's a few.
Who really cares? And at the bare minimum, we know that Sukuna has been so much stronger than everyone else that we've seen in JJK. And in terms of speed, we have more evidence of Sukuna reaching speeds that are massively ahead of hypersonic speed. Hypersonic being Mach 5, which means to be 5 times faster than the speed of sound.
It's any other person that is massively stronger and faster than him. Like, if you're just at light speed, there's other characters who are millions of times faster than the speed of light, bro. I'm sorry, my words. Yeah, there's multiple characters that could just slap Sukuna around. It's crazy, bro. Based off his scaling,
that JJK can potentially get to the speed of light, but so far we don't have anything concrete. As for his durability, let's just say that it's around or more than durability. And in an off-script sense, there's also the fact that he is just continuously spamming binding vows. But we won't really have to get to that because I feel as though the physical attributes are more so what matters here when it comes down to the fight between him.
I don't know. If we're just talking about the physical aspect, we got to talk about his hacks and powers and abilities versus the first JoJo, right? Jonathan is he's fast, but I don't think he's stronger, nor is he don't got no crazy ass abilities. What is sunlight really gonna do to Sukuna? He ain't a vampire. He's not gonna what are we talking about?
Him and the Joestars. But let's get into his abilities once again. Dismantle, this is Sukuna's go-to slashing attack. It unleashes invisible slash.
It's an invisible slash. Yeah, we get that. We know what Sukuna could. Let's just Yeah, we get that. Okay. We get that. We understand that. That's dope. That's cool and whatnot. Yeah.
Fast enough to run up and one punch Sukuna. Ah, no, he's not. Well, all right. Well,
Nah.
what powers does he have?
Jonathan is getting. We all agree that Jonathan is getting cooked, bro. And I like Jonathan.
He has Hamon. Oh, the power of the sun. Great. And a sword. All right. So far so good. What else?
But what is the power of the sun really gonna do to Sukuna? Like you're not Escanor, right? You're not Escanor, right? Like if he had Escanor type abilities, then sure, Jonathan slapped Sukuna 1,000 times out of 1,000 times. But that's not the case. That's not the case at all. This man is getting clapped up, packed up, all those things and above, packed up.
Okay.
He's
That's
smarter.
it. But he's really smart. Will that help him?
Nah.
No, it's not going to. Because, unfortunately, no, this isn't enough here. Jonathan, at a regular level, can at least keep up or potentially exceed Sukuna's speeds, because JoJo characters are really fast. But he doesn't have an answer for reverse curse technique. This would basically be like trying to fight Dio, but instead of laser eyes, he has invisible slashes within 200 meters to get down the middle and put himself back together. But certain things are like, oh, I chopped off an arm. He just grows a new one. He doesn't have to reattach his. It's fairly ridiculous with this character. So with that in of Jonathan Joestar.
You're gonna love my nuts. Watch this.
Oof. But hey, you know what? Now we're on to part 2. Okay. Next up, we have the very intelligent Joseph Joestar. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to also have to cut this one short.
Yeah, I don't think Joseph. Nah. I think I said Joseph probably puts up a better fight. I don't think he do though. Considering the fact that he fought vampires, right? Like he fought vampires. He fought people who could regen and whatnot. But he didn't outright beat. I forgot his name though. I can't remember his name. He fought somebody in space. He sent that person. He sent one of those vampires into space, and he is he has every cell of everything that ever existed on Earth. So I don't think, even with that, I don't think that he could beat Sukuna, because he got lucky with that one. He got lucky with his last fight.
Due to the fact that Joseph doesn't exactly have anything that'll help prevent his death here. If Ultimate Cars use malevolent...
Yeah, that's Ultimate Cars, right? Yeah, I feel like Ultimate Cars has a better chance of beating Sukuna. I said Sukuna, whoa. Sukuna than a Joseph.
Clackers, intelligence, and a dream. Unfortunately, that's not enough to get the job here.
He said a dream.
Joseph... chopping block. Stardust Crusaders. Now, we're getting on into our first powerful stand user of the family. Jotaro Kujo and his stand Star Platinum. He only has a close combat range but strength to make most things into projectiles, comparable attack potency and durability to Sukuna, most likely exceeding it by a little bit. Faster than speed of light in terms of combat speed, and he has the ability to...
Wait, he himself is faster than the speed of light? He himself. If you just took the stand powers away, he himself is faster than light? That's tough.
Sukuna also can't make contact with Star Platinum as he isn't a stand, so Star Platinum can act like a physical barrier for Jotaro when it comes to fighting Sukuna directly. Now, what helps me here is that I've actually done a video on Sukuna in Shibuya against Dio. Now, Dio and Jotaro have comparable stands, but what had made the difference between the two is that Dio is still a vampire and can but it was rough for the two. It was also way too close for comfort when it came to Dio versus Sukuna, and that was just 15 finger Sukuna. And this is now a Sukuna who's turned it up in terms of his physical prowess. Jotaro would be able to land critical blows, sure, but it wouldn't be without some trades. And considering our position right now with how we're dealing with Sukuna in the manga, yeah, I don't think critical blows are enough at this point. Finishing the job is the biggest thing here, and I don't think that Jotaro will be able to keep up in doing that because he just doesn't have those facilities. Him being the one to do them in, not really sure. Here's the thing with...
But I also say this though, right? Like, Sukuna, I'm not sure if he ever fought somebody who can manipulate time or who's fought somebody who's faster than light. But those are two things that could work in Jotaro's favor, really. Because, one, he ain't never fought nobody that fast. And two, he ain't never fought nobody who could manipulate time for like 15 seconds or something like that. And plus, he's moving fast. So it's like 15 seconds could feel like an hour. So...
Jotaro. Now, Jotaro with rage and killing intent far exceeds his normal levels of strength. It's truly what let him be the one to destroy Dio. Now, destroying the brain of Sukuna, that would be able to completely stop him from using cursed energy. The stipulation would be too close, but I'd say it leans more into Sukuna's favor because while I trust Jotaro to get a good shot on Sukuna, I don't think that it would be the one to close it out because, that literally, it didn't happen. It didn't go through. Now, let's say it's a 60-40 situation. I think that makes more sense for the two between...
I always want to know in part 3, why was Dio, like, why did he look like this? Like, why was he so muscular and then, like, he had, like, the hair up? Like, why did he look like this?
And it's a 60% chance that Sukuna can just win it through a complete onslaught of cleave.
Yeah.
And from Malevolent Shrine. 40% chance that Sukuna egos some areas of the fight, and Jotaro is able to just get his shot off and completely end Sukuna's life. There's reasonable win conditions for both parties here. Next up, we have Josuke Higashikage. Diamond is unbreakable. Now, while we have lost the restoration ability, the way he'd be able to get some sort of play with this situation, if he made contact with Sukuna and hit him in the same way that Jotaro did, he could effectively change the way of whatever he hits and functions and all that, which is a win condition, but it's not exactly the most helpful in the context of the fight. Josuke doesn't have any gateway capabilities or something to keep Sukuna out from using the Malevolent Shrine in the hand-to-hand combat area before it gets there. I do think Josuke and the close-range stand users that we'll mention later on, they can do pretty good before it gets too far.
I'll say this, right? Forget the JoJo's, Poochie, right? Him, that guy, that man who resets the entire universe. Come on, man.
It just that cleave, dismantle are abilities that are similar to how stands function in their invisibility and intangibility. And it's like if a stand user was to go against a similar concept, which is rough. Imagine the stand stray cat working with Kira, but that bubble was as fast as any other close-range combat stand, and now there are multiple bubbles. That'd be rough. That'd be extremely hard to deal with. And I'm just not sure that Josuke can really do much against this. Now we're on to Golden Wind with Giorno Giovanna and his stand Gold Experience. Giorno doesn't have the combat strength that Crazy Diamond and Star Platinum are known for, but his ability to give life and reflect damage could be extremely helpful, but mainly for the impact of regular punches and all that from Sukuna. Plus, Giorno's ability to give life is cool and all, but in JJK, the 10 Shadows technique far surpasses this thing, and Sukuna is just far ahead of this character in strength.
See, this is what I was talking about. Everybody kept saying that Giovanna... I'm going to call him Gio, because I don't like pronouncing his name. I'm going to call him Gio. So with Gio, basically, they kept saying that, oh yeah, Gio slaps Dragon Ball. Da, da, da. This is like old conversations that I had on the channel, and I'm like, so are we suggesting that Sukuna could do that because of his hacks? He could do the same thing because of his hacks, but based off this scaling right here, we're saying that Sukuna just slaps Geo.
What will Giorno be able to do here? In his current state, not much. Being honest with you, he just doesn't have the facilities to match up currently. But let's turn this up to Gold Experience Requiem. Okay, fine.
There we go.
Great, we're good in this case. GR's ability to nullify and revert both actions and willpower will be the one to stop Sukuna's onslaught. Just outright. Once Sukuna attempts anything and he's completely just continuously reset back to zero, Giorno will be able to try really whatever under the sun to take Sukuna out. He knows that probably, oh man, this poison's not working and it won't do much, but his best thing that he'll be able to do is probably go straight for the head and or the gut and damage him worse than how he did Chocolata. Now, if you're primarily a JJK person and you're unfamiliar with Gold Experience Requiem, first of all, I am sorry that this is like the...
Yeah, so basically, like he said, GER Gold Requiem Experience basically resets all things back to zero, or to its starting point. So, like, if I threw a Ki Blast, he uses, GER, it makes it where, like, it's never been there. It resets it back to its starting point, which could be really annoying. So, like, I don't think he could reset somebody's power level to zero, because the starting point, because he trained up, I don't think he could reset it or put your attributes back to zero. Because if it was never at zero, it will never be at zero, right?
Spoiler. Yeah, imagine if Sukuna was to use Dismantle or Cleave or whatever. He didn't do it. It never happened. He's getting reset for every time he tries that. And essentially, it's like a weird sort of temporal loop in his eyes, but it's not really the case. His reality never came to fruition, and he will get got because he's not doing anything, because everything he's doing is being reset back to its original 0 point. But yeah, I'd say that this is our first definitive win against Full Power Sukuna. The issue is that this is arguably the most broken Joestar. It is. So is this...
Because he lacks in physicality, like, I don't... But, like, so my thing is this, like, how would he beat Sukuna, though? Because if it's just GER, you just reset things back to how you find a way to kill him. Because you're not going to lower it. You can't reset his defenses to zero. Like, that's not going to happen. Right? I've never seen him use it where, like, he resets somebody's power level, somebody who's massively stronger than him. He resets them back to zero. If I would have seen it in the manga or the anime, then sure. But I didn't see it in both, so it's like, I'm not sure if he could do that. Somebody who's massively stronger than him in every single category.
I don't know, man. I kind of hope not. Now we're over here in Stone Ocean with Jolene Cujo and her stand Stone Free. Now, while being better than Giorno in terms of combat prowess, they both fall short with their stands. Even while Jolene does have the battle IQ and creativity to make her initial close combat something to push Sukuna, when he gets into his Malevolent Shrine bag, it'll be another Joestar to get slap chopped in the same way that, they just have been getting. Like, they haven't been really winning these. I think, honestly, a huge thing for me would be the fact that they don't really have defensive capabilities when it comes down to stuff that's comparable to stands itself.
Yeah, like, I feel like they only have offense and zero defense.
Dismantle and Cleave is the closest thing that a lot of other franchises will, like, have to a stand-like concept. And I don't think that these JoJo characters are set up for that. When it comes to, like, a physical thing, like Naruto wanted to kick you in the face or something like that, your stand can block it, and Naruto's like, oh man, I didn't make contact. And that's the point. Like, oh, that's great. But if it's like another invisible ability and intangible ability that you yourself are unfamiliar to, you'll be like, oh my goodness, this is not what I was prepared for. This is going to hurt. But now finally, we're over here in Steel Ball Run. Johnny Joestar is here and he's ready to fight. I'm going to make this easier. Tusk Act 1 is not a factor here. Complete non-factor, moving on. Let's say that we have Tusk Act 2. Well, Johnny can't fight in the same ways that the other JoJo stand users could. And even if on his horse, Tusk Act 2, while could help move damage here and there, he doesn't really have much to protect him. He also loses in the initial combat area and doesn't even get to the area where it's all like, oh, okay, I have to use Malevolent Shrine. Doesn't even get to that. You know, besides like having good speed, no, there's not much to work with here. But let's say that Tusk Act 2 lands a shot, since he is faster, a shot to Sukuna's head or a shot that moves to his head or his gut, you know, either way that like, okay, I'm working with my cursed energy over here. If it got there, then boom, complete effective attack against them. He's got it, right? If it's an effective headshot, we'll be glad to say that Sukuna is done here. But I don't know, it's weird, you know, because it's like, yeah, he loses the combat in terms of the punching and all that, but opening up the battle with just a straight shot that'll boom, that's guaranteed to like, it's gonna be faster.
So it sounds like he can one shot him because of based off his speed.
So with that in mind, it's like it's probably gonna hit him too, because he can't really dodge or do anything. This would be more inclined for us to say like, hold on, he's for real gonna get hit. Like, I want to say, yeah, Tusk Act 2 combat wise won't help him, but if he just gets straight down to business and hits his shot, which he most likely will, he's gonna win this fight. I'd like to say that he reverse curse techniques right out of this, but if his brain is being scrambled, then he just won't be able to, because it's not like an automatic thing like that. It also ignores durability, so that's not even a factor here. Like, it's really unfortunate Sukuna, actually, when I come to think about it. And the reason why is because Tusk Act 2's bullets are incorporated with the golden ratio, and essentially just imagine that this is a spinning black hole that tracks down its targets and spins and rips through its target like a Beyblade. Even if Sukuna can RCT and regenerate from other hits, like it hit other parts of his body, sure, destroying his brain would be the most effective thing, and he wouldn't even be able to function. None of that stuff is also extinctual to his body. Like, this isn't automatic. It's most likely going to scramble him and be the end of this character. Tusk Act 3 won't help Johnny throw hands again, but now he essentially gets to teleport with the help of these spatial bullet holes. Johnny would be able to actually temporarily hide from Sukuna for whatever reason through these bullets. And now, why is that? To explain Act 3, if Johnny shoots himself with the power of the golden ratio, he can create an infinite hole for the area, and it only works in favor of him too. So while he can shoot any part of his body and even move it to another location, he's safe. But if he hits someone else with that bullet, they're stuck in that space and then essentially successfully annihilated, I'd say. I trust that Johnny can find a way to make that shot to Sukuna. And also, this is one of the cases where he actually is able to hide from Sukuna and remove himself from the unfavorable position that he'll put him in. With that in mind, yeah, I do have Tusk Act 3 Johnny Joestar over Sukuna because, you know, unless he starts the fight with Malevolent Shrine, which never happens, then Johnny would be able to get into his back faster than Sukuna would be able to think to get into his own. And again, he puts himself into his own little dimension. I don't think that Malevolent Shrine would be able to hit him because it is essentially a different area altogether now.
Well, I feel like if somebody like Gojo, right, who you really can't touch unless you're physically more, like if you're way faster and way stronger than Gojo, that's the only way you're beating up Gojo. Even with the domain expansion, even with Infinity, even with Red and Blue, even with all those abilities, we seen him get beat up with just a Tai Jutsu user, right? Just straight hands and blades, and that we saw Gojo get torn to shred. What a lot of these JoJo characters lack, they're probably, some of them are probably like 3 out of 6 of them are like faster than Gojo, but all of them lack the physical powers or the abilities to even touch him. That's how I see it. At least, unless I'm wrong.
Abiding by the same thing. But I do want to wait a bit to maybe potentially the end of JJK to revisit Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine and what it does with space and all that, if possible, to see how bad.
Because Sukuna did cut through space and time. Or he just cut through space. Right? And that's how he killed Gojo.
For Johnny, but at least currently I do think that Johnny Act 3 should be able to work with this fairly well. Now we're up into Tuss Act 4, just call it a day. Like, legitimately speaking, just call it a day. Not only is Tuss Act 4 in the form to protect Johnny in terms of combat, but a single bullet, like a lot of these, but just this one guaranteed, even if it hits his body. If this bullet, if it was to hit him, which it will, it's going to be the end of Sukuna, easily. The reason for that is with Tuss Act 4, Johnny's bullets are now powered by the super spin. Johnny uses his horse's momentum and the golden rectangle to create a super powered spin with near limitless energy. These bullets trap its targets in an endless spin, shredding them from within. They ignore location changes, bypass things like dimensional barriers, gravity, and even stop time. There won't be a single chance for...
Oh, that sounds like a problem. It ignores everything. Everything you could think of that might stop anything else, it could ignore it. Different dimension, different stop time. That's crazy. Wow.
To get any sort of ability off, and he doesn't have the defenses for this because no one has the defenses for this. Because trust me, if Tuss Act 4 can get past, there's just no way that you're going to go about this. Now, with that in mind, yeah, Johnny Joestar, I'd say, secured his wins. This is like legit, like, guaranteed at like 2 of 4, but I think it's high key 3 of 4. And lastly, Josuke Higashikata 8 against Sukuna. Now, let me tell you this. I understand win conditions for sure, but the word condition is the one that we have to focus on here, because while yes, if Josuke is to, you know, pop a bubble on Sukuna, he can take away certain things. But the fact of the matter is that whatever Josuke thinks of, that we've seen him think of so far, it most likely won't be anything.
Wait, which Josuke is? He said which one?
Is to, you know, pop a bubble on Sukuna.
Hold on.
I'd say it secured his wins. This is like legit, like guaranteed at like 2 of 4, but I think it's high key 3 of 4. And lastly, Josuke Higashikata 8 against Sukuna. Now,
this is the same Josuke from Diamond is Unbreakable. It's the same one. It don't look like him.
Let's take this. I understand win conditions for sure, but the word condition is the one that we have to focus on here, because while yes, if Josuke is to, you know, pop a bubble on Sukuna, he can take away certain things, but the fact of the matter is that whatever Josuke thinks of, that we've seen him think of so far, it most likely won't be anything that will help stop Sukuna outright. It will annoy him, but certain things like binding vows and just like, oh, like he can get himself back in certain ways. Like, oh, maybe I lost my vision, but now I'm working on something to where, you know, I don't even have to worry about my vision in this case because I'm still going to hit these. In addition to that, too, if he were to lose anything, that inclines him to use Malevolent Shrine even faster. So if you did happen to take like, oh, okay, you remove my friction, I'm sliding everywhere, binding vow, or just let me not even go to the binding vow, I'm just going to go straight for a Malevolent Shrine, or I'm going to go for my big fire arrow attack. What is Josuke 8 going to do here? Not much. He can't protect himself. There's no way he's going to arrange his arms in a certain way to protect these slashes. because they will be intensified and they're going to just cut in general. Like, there's no way that this is happening. Like, soft and wet can protect him from stuff like, okay, like say it was Dio's case, like, oh, I'm throwing knives. You can punch away the knives. These are invisible slashes, and what are you going to do? You can't see them. What are you gonna break the slash? It's meant to cut. It's most likely.
Well, if they're invisible, can't a stand see it then? Because they're also invisible for Sukuna. Because Sukuna can't see a stand.
It can't hit stands. It can't hit soft and wet because you can't hit a stand as a regular person. It's going to go right through soft and wet.
But Sukuna isn't a regular person. He just isn't a stand user. So I'm pretty sure that nobody in the JoJo verse has seen somebody like a Sukuna really, besides Ultimate Cars, right? So
Josuke directly. Even if he has something like Go Beyond, which I completely understand, it's broken and it will hurt Sukuna for sure. I just think we're more inclined to believe that Sukuna will be able to take care of Josuke faster. Josuke can think of a way to go about this, to take care of this regenerating, slashing freak of nature. And I feel like that's being fairly reasonable because Josuke 8 does in general have, I don't want to say a tough time when it comes to versus stuff because, it's just the fact that this is the same character that took out Wonder of You with a collective help, like with everybody. It's just, this is a very, very strong stand, and Go Beyond is a very, very strong ability. But certain things like this, I will say, a little too much for Josuke in this regard. So with our ratio, we have about 3 Joestars, sort of 3. It's realistic.
It's like 2. So 2 out of 8. 2 out of 8 can really beat Sukuna. Damn.
Dude, 2 of 8 winning 1/4 of a chance. I'd say that's a failing grade. But I do think that while it sucks in this case, I think that the antagonists, will get a better ratio.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you put the antagonist, like Poochie, you put Poochie or Pochi, however you want to pronounce his name, he got it. And definitely he's winning.
I'll guarantee you. That would be a way better case for these guys. But our lineup, kind of rough. If they all join together, look, you don't even have to think about that. All the Joestars against Sukuna, he's folded. But yeah, individually speaking, they've tried their best, and I applaud them for it. They're my Joestars, but this is it. Now, thank you all for watching. I think I'm going to be doing a video on, I want to say all the special grades, but there's just like some special grades. Like, okay, this is uninteresting. And Sukuna isn't a special grade curse. He's a sorcerer because he's still like a guy. I don't want to say that, but I don't know what the titling would be, but it's like, oh yeah, special grade evil guys. And all of our antagonists against them, potentially, or all of our Joestars now against them, something like that.
I feel like it wouldn't even be fair to like send every single Joestar because you got 2 of them that that could definitely kill him, right? And then you got like out the 8, he's gonna take at least 6 of them with him.
Just in general, I like certain matchups like that because JJK has brought a lot more to the table than expected, at least with the character of Sukuna. And I do think Sukuna in general brings up a lot of discussions to be had about, oh, okay, could your character beat this guy? It's really interesting, but I'd love to have these conversations. Just tell me what's up. I do have more plans in general for the future. I have some stuff that I want to do in videos and yada, yada, yada. But this is not important. People don't really care about this part of the video. It's chill. If you got to this part of the video, leave a comment talking about, you know what, grab a random video game boss like Melania or something like that and just be like, how did they get in this video? As if I said something in this video.
I kind of want to see you do a video on, like, can anybody from JoJo beat Melania? Because she's technically a god. Actually, she is a god. So I want to see. I'm actually interested in that, my boy. It's me, your boy Sue. See you guys in the next video. Y'all. Peace.